and the name of topic is the pre-fertilization structure and events. Okay, so now we will talk about the pre-fertilization structure and event. Okay, before I'm going to talk, I told in flower they have the two different structure. Okay, one is a structure which is known as the androcium. One structure which is known as the androcium, that is male part. Okay, androcium is the male part. Okay, androcium, and another one important thing that you can say gynocium. Okay, another one important structure which is known as the gynocium. Gynocium. Okay, gynocium, androcium, and gynocium. Gynocium is the female reproductive structure. Okay, female reproductive structure is the gynocium, and male reproductive structure is the androcium. Okay, much before the actual flower is seen on a plant, the decision that the plant is going to flower has taken place. Okay, several hormonal and structural changes are initiated which lead to the differentiation and further development of the floral primordium. Okay, floral primordium. What is the floral primordium? What we have seen, suppose that this is the stem. Okay, at the stem they have the different parts arise. Suppose that from this stem they have the node region, here node region, here node region, and another node region. Near the node region they have another special structure which is known as the axillary bud. So here axillary bud, from the axillary buds maybe leaf arise, or sometimes maybe flower axis also arise. Okay, there may be also flower axis arise. Okay, that is called the flower primordial. Okay, flower primordium is the structure which is going to forms the flower. Primordial means what? Precursor. Primordial means precursor. Okay, so they have floral primordium. Floral primordium, that is the, it is going to formation of the flower branch. Okay, now inflorescence are formed which bear the floral buds and then the flower. Okay, inflorescence that yesterday I have discussed, that is the pattern of arrangement of flower on floral axis, that is called inflorescence. Okay, so the branch where they have the flower, okay, and other parts, floral buds means they have the different types of the flower. Okay, suppose that this is the floral axis. Okay, in the floral axis they have the different floral buds, like here, this is here, this is here, this is here. In this way they have the different floral buds. Okay, so it have given this floral buds. Now in the flower, the male and female reproductive structure, the androcium and gynocium differentiate and develops. I told male reproductive structure will be the androcium and their unit is considered as a stamen. Male reproductive structure in the flower, that is considered as androcium, and the unit of male reproductive structure or androcium is the stamen. Female reproductive structure, that is gynocium, unit is the carpel or pistil. Okay, and I told this stamen they have classified into the, means the stamen they have the two different parts. One is called the anther, another is the filament. They have the two different structure. I'm drawing, just look at here. They have the bilobed anther. Okay, it have the bilobed anther, and this bilobed gets attached to the filament. Okay, this is the filament. Okay, so this is the lobe, this is the lobe, and this structure is known as the anther. This structure is known as the anther, and this structure which is by which get attached through the plant means flower, this is called the filament. Filament is stalk like structure. Anther, this is the bilobe. What I'm saying, just look in. Bilobed and Dithecous. Bilobed Dithecous anther. This will come. You will get again. It will come. Bilobed Dithecous anther. What means of the bilobed Dithecous anther? We will discuss later detail, but you have to know here the male reproductive structure, that will be the androcium, and female reproductive structure gynocium, which differentiate and develops. You would recollect the androcium consists of the whorl of a stamen representing the male reproductive organ, and the gynocium represents the female reproductive organ. Okay, so whorl of a stamen, in case of the male, that androcium they have the whorl of a stamen. Whorl means more than 2 to 3 stamen is there, that is called the whorl of stamen. Is it okay? Clear? Now you can see they have given the detailed structure of the stamen and microsporangium and pollen grain. So now we are going to talk about the first one, that is the male part of the flower. Most of the flower, you have to know, most of the flower will be the bisexual. Can you tell the flower which is the unisexual? The flower which is unisexual?
Flower having either male or female gamete only.
That is correct. You are saying, I am talking about the name of flower. You are saying unisexual means either male or female. That is, you can say simply monoecious condition. Okay, monoecious. Sorry, not monoecious. Dioecious. Dioecious means sexes separated. So dioecious means sexes separated. Male flower separate, female flower separate. Okay, that is dioecious. Monoecious means hermaphrodite, bisexual condition. If I am saying, just you have to clear your concept. This is the very big and confusing things. Just you have to clear what I am saying here. Monoecious. Monoecious. Monoecious means hermaphrodite. Monoecious means hermaphrodite. Monoecious means hermaphrodite, or simply you can say it is also known as the bisexual. Are you getting? Monoecious, hermaphrodite, or bisexual. They are the same things. How you learn? For the learning purposes, you have to prepare the mnemonics, that is MHB. MHB. Monoecious, hermaphrodite, bisexual. Monoecious, hermaphrodite, bisexual. Clear? So that would be the same if they have given the monoecious or hermaphrodite or bisexual. Okay. Another one that I'm writing here, just look at dioecious. Dioecious. Dioecious means sexes separated. Dioecious means sexes separated. Sexes separated means it will be the unisexual. It will be the unisexual. Clear? It will be the unisexual means the flower, male flower separate, female flower separate. Such condition found into the calotropis. Calotropis. Calotropis procera. Calotropis procera. It is in Hindi, it is called the madar. Calotropis procera, in Hindi it is called the madar. Okay. Calotropis procera, which is the unisexual flower. Most of the flower, you have to learn one important point. Most of the flower is bisexual in nature. Some are specific, which is the unisexual. Okay. What I'm saying, are you getting or not? Most of the flower, these are the bisexual. Okay. Hermaphrodite, monoecious in nature. Okay. But some flower like Calotropis procera, which is the unisexual in nature. Okay. Now, this is the important point for you. Next, stamen. Stamen, I told it is the unit of male reproductive organ. Microsporangium, it is the structure where the sporangium, where the microspore means microspore mother cell or PMC, pollen spore mother cells are found. And pollen grain. Pollen grain, that is the it is present into the pollen sac, and pollen grains, it involves in the it involves in the pollination. After pollination, it involves in the fertilization. They form the embryo sac and seed and fruit. Okay, which we will discuss later. Okay. Now, so this structure we will talk about here detail. Now look at figure 2 shows the two parts of the typical stamen, the long and slender stalk called the filament, and the terminal generally bilobe structure called the anther. Okay, look at here. Filament. Stamen has two parts. Stamen has two parts. One is called the anther. One is called the anther, and second is the filament. Clear? One is called the anther, and second is the filament. I told stamen is the male reproductive unit. So stamen, that is the male reproductive unit or male reproductive part. These are composed of the two things. One is called the anther. One is called the anther, and another is called the filament. One is the anther, another is the filament. Now look at this structure. I told anther, that is the bilobe. Anther is the bilobed structure. This is the bilobed structure. Okay, anther is the bilobed structure. So this structure is known as the anther. and this structure, this is thread-like structure which is known as the filament. This thread-like structure which is known as the filament by which gets attached with the flower. Okay, now look at this structure of the flower. I told in case of the most of the anther, that it should be bilobed, and diathecous. What I am saying, just write bilobed structure called anther. The proximal end of filament is attached to the thalamus of the petal of flower. The number and the length of stamen are variable flowers of the different species. If you were to collect a stamen and each from 10 flowers, each from different species, and arrange them slide, you would be able to appreciate the large variation in size in nature. It is saying if you are going to collect the 10 different types of the flower and you have collected their stamen, so what you will get the too much varieties, too much variant, too much diversity in the length, in the size of a stamen, in the means structure of the stamen. It is going to vary into the different flower species. Okay, anther should be bilobed, and these bilobed, they have the two theca, that is Dithecous. Okay, again, uh, let us understand the various type of tissue their organization in transverse section of the anther. The bilobed nature of anther is very distinct. The transverse section of the anther. The anther is a four-shaped tetragonal structure consists of the four microsporangium located corners at each lobe. Okay. Now I'm drawing the structure. Just look at. Suppose that they forms in this way. The structure is going to form. Okay. They have the four theca, means one, irandu, mundru, nal. So they have how many? Four. Okay. Just look at here in this structure. So B figure, that is 3D structure, 3D cut section of anther, means they have the one theca, one theca, one theca, and one theca. And each theca they are provided with the sporogenous tissue. This sporogenous tissue is going to formation of the PMC or MMC, microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. This pollen mother cell, it is going to forms the pollen grain. Clear? This pollen mother cell, it will forms the pollen grain. Are you getting or not? Bilobed, each anther will be the bilobed structure. Okay, and each lobe has the two theca. That means each anther is the Dithecous in nature. Clear? So now look at it, they have given this diagram. They have this structure, that is the Microspore-tetrad. This is also known as the Microspore-tetrad. Okay, so this is the structure they have given about the Microspore. One lobe, this is the another lobe, means one theca, two theca, three theca, and four theca. Okay, and I told this is filled with the sporogenous tissue. They have given, they are filled with the sporogenous tissue. I'm writing here, just try to understand. Firstly, it will be the sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue, what they will form? They will form the MMC or PMC, microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. They are going to formation of the pollen grain. They are going to formation of the pollen grain. Okay, now this pollen grain means sporogenous tissues and MMC, megaspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. They are going to formation of the pollen grain. They will form the pollen grain. Now this pollen grain, so look at here, same things they have given. This is the connective tissue, this is the intermediate, and this Microspore-tetrad, they have the four different layer. Microspore-tetrad have four different layer. EEMT according to sequence, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the outer, this will be the innermost. Okay, one will be the outer and fourth is the innermost. So I told they have the four different layer. Outermost epidermis. Okay, epidermis, then endothecium, then middle layer, then tapetum. Now you can see If you see this diagram, there your concept will be clear. They have given epidermis, that is outermost layer, number one. Second is the endothecium, that is second layer. And third is the middle layer. And fourth is the tapetum. So fourth is the tapetum. Is it okay? Fourth is the tapetum. So Microspore-tetrad, they is only made up of the four different layers. Outermost layer epidermis, second is the endothecium, third is the middle layer, and fourth is the epidermis. How you learn? EEMT, epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, tapetum. Okay, now they have given that is connective tissue, epidermis and endothecium. Sporogenous tissue, the tissue they have derived from the primary means archisporial cells. Archisporial cells, they form the parietal cells and primary parietal cells. Okay, so overall you can say sporogenous cells, they will form the PMC, pollen mother cells, or microspore mother cells. Okay, microspore mother cell or pollen mother cells, which is going to formation of the pollen grain. This is the sac-like structure. The pollen grains were found. This is called the pollen sac. Okay, is it clear? Is it okay? Now concept is clear that outermost layer epidermis, then second that will be the endothecium, and then middle layer, and the last one is the tapetum. Uh, this is the microspore mother cell, means you can say sporogenous tissue. This is not tapetum. Tapetum will be the here. This is the tapetum layer. This is the tapetum layer, and tapetum is the there is the two feature of the tapetum. First, according to function, tapetum provide the nutrition to microspore mother cell. Microspore mother cell will get or derive the nutrition from microspore mother cell. Mother cell gets nourishment from where? Get nourishment from the tapetum. So tapetum is the nutritive layer. You can say tapetum is the nutritive layer which provide the nourishment during the development of this pollen grain, development of microspore mother cells. Okay, epidermis, it is the outermost protective layer. Endothecium. Okay, endothecium means you can say this endothecium layer, it involves in the dehiscence. It involves the basic function of endothecium layer, you can say endothecium. Just wait, I will change the color. Okay, now look at endothecium layer. Endothecium, it involves in the dehiscence of this Microspore-tetrad. Microspore-tetrad means release of the microspore or dehiscence of microspore performed by the endothecium. Are you getting? First feature of the tapetum layer, it is the nutritious. Okay, it is the nutritious, or simply you can say it is the nutritive layer. Another very important feature of the tapetum, that you can say this tapetum, they have the another very important property, and this property is called the syncytium. SYN, syncytium condition. Anyone, can you tell what means of syncytium? Syncytium, anyone, do you know? Anyone, do you know what?
More than one.
Yes, can you say again? Can you say again?
More than one. Sir.
Very good. More than one nucleus, that you can say simply multinucleate condition. Syncytium means multinucleate condition. Multinucleate condition, that is called the syncytium. Okay, so another very important feature of the tapetum, it is the multinucleate. So tapetum is the multinucleate. Is it clear? So two feature, first one is the syncytium condition, multinucleate found into the tapetum, and second one is the interesting feature that tapetum is the nutritious layer which provide the nutrition during the development of this microspore mother cell. Is it clear? Is it fine? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good.
Yes, sir.
Now look at the structure again. They have given this C, that is the mature dehisced anther. Dehisced means they release their pollen grain. I told this is called the pollen sac. In the pollen sac, they are filled with the pollen grain. This is called the pollen sac. They are filled with the pollen grain. They have mentioned pollen. So here one sac, two sac, and here two sac, three sac, and four sac. So four different found into the structure. I think structure is the clear. If the structure is the clear, if you read that sentence, your concept will be the clear. So now we are going to read that thing. Okay, now look it. Yes, the microsporangium develops further and become pollen sacs. I told that these pollen sacs have the sporogenous tissue. So pollen sacs, they extended longitudinally all through the length, and anther are packed with the pollen grains, in which anther are packed with the pollen grains. Is it clear? A structure of microsporangium. In a transverse section, a typical microsporangium appear near circular in outline. They appears like that. They appears like that. Okay, circular in outline. It is generally surrounded by a four wall layers. The epidermis outermost, endothecium second, middle layer third, and last is the tapetum. The outer three wall layers perform the function of protection and help in the dehiscence of anther to release the pollen. Outer three wall means epidermis, I told it will provide the protection. Middle layer, it will also provide the protection, and endothecium, it involves in the dehiscence. So endothecium layer, it involves in the dehiscence of pollen grain. So such things they have given. Okay, they have given dehiscence of anther to release the pollen. Okay, the innermost wall layer is the tapetum. It nourishes the developing pollen grains, and cells of the tapetum possess a dense cytoplasm and generally have more than one nucleus. I told they generally have more than one nucleus. This condition is called the syncytium. Okay, this condition is known as the combined nucleus. When the anther is young, a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells called sporogenous tissue. Okay, I told they are filled with the sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue they forms the PMC or MMC, pollen mother cells, or microspore mother cells. Occupies the center of each microsporangium. I told for each microsporangium, that means you can say they have the like this. They have the like this microsporangium. So in the center they have the filled with the sporogenous tissue. Okay, now and that term, that is microsporogenesis, means formation of the microspore, that is called the microsporogenesis. As the anther develops, the cells of sporogenous tissue undergo meiotic division to form Microspore-tetrad. Very, very important. It is saying sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue undergo. Sporogenous tissue, it will undergo the which type of division? Meiotic division. They have get meiotic division. After meiotic division, what will form? It will form the microspore-tetrads. It will form the microspore-tetrads. Very good. It will form the microspore-tetrads. And these microspore-tetrads, they have the filled with the PMC, pollen mother cells. They have given what would sporogenous tissue, they form the microspore-tetrad. Each one is potential pollen or microspore mother cells. Means sporogenous tissue undergo meiosis and they form microspore-tetrad. Microspore-tetrad, and each microspore-tetrad, they have ability. They have given each one is potential to form pollen or microspore mother cells. I told this will form the PMC, pollen mother cells, or MMC, microspore mother cell. They will form the PMC or MMC, microspore mother cells. Okay, so now they have given the process of formation of microsporangium from PMC through meiosis. It is called the microsporogenesis. Now this PMC, pollen mother cells also undergo the meiosis, and they are going to formation of the microspore. Microspore. So this phenomenon is known as the microsporogenesis. Okay, microsporogenesis. Okay, remaining things we will talk into the next class. That means the structure of the pollen grain, monocolpate, bicolpate, different things we will discuss into the next class. So thank you.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.